What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Odin! Come back with another video, and today we have no box office news to talk about once again, and so we're diving over to Bounding into Comics to talk a little bit about the New Gods film that for some reason Warner Brothers thought it'd be a good idea to give to the very incapable hands of Ava Duvernay. For those that do not know Ava Duvernay, she is a political hack posing as a Hollywood director. She was the one that made a little film called A Wrinkle in Time for over $100 million, and it was a massive box office flop because it just plain out sucked because she decided to put identity politics into the casting and everything else dealing with the film. That was the film that also featured Oprah making her grand return to the movie-going screen, and again, didn't bring in any people to actually go see the movie because it lost money. And for some reason, they thought, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and put into her hands another giant big budget DC film. And so this is the reason why I think, because obviously we'll be talking about this rumor that's going around that Steppenwolf will be returning to this film. But also, it kind of makes me raise the question, is DC really going in a good direction with their live-action films? We all know that their animated films and shows have been very good for a long time. Again, there's probably a few exceptions to that, but for the most part, it's been mostly solid. But when it comes to their movies, this might not be a popular opinion on this channel, so I cannot wait to see the like-to-dislike ratio on this one, is that their DC films really haven't been all that great either. I mean, Shazam, to me, has been the best movie to come out so far. Aquaman was fun, but the CGI was crap, and so it's really hard for me to get behind that movie. And then Wonder Woman was fine, but also suffered from a lot of really bad CGI issues too. And let's not get started on the Zack Snyder films, because I'm sorry everyone out there, they're just not very good. Oh boy, cannot wait for that hate. But anyway, I can say this much though, no matter how bad I think the Zack Snyder DCEU films have been, I don't think that they will be at all in comparison to what Ava Duvernay is going to do with this franchise, because let's just be honest here, if there's anyone that Zack Snyder is better than, it's Ava Duvernay. But let's go ahead and get into this rumor news that Steppenwolf apparently is making his return. You remember Steppenwolf, everybody? Remember how everyone loved Steppenwolf being involved, being the main villain in the film? Remember everyone loved that aspect of Justice League, because Justice League, remember, was the best movie ever that made over $650 million and lost money? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's right. Bring on the hate. I'm ready for it. But as you can see, the DCEU continuity is cluttered and a little confusing. So is Warner Brothers' fickle handling of it since Justice League. That film's problems notwithstanding, there are some things the studio decided to keep, namely actors, and they could be holding on to one more thing. And again, it's been really problematic. And again, I think that if you were to step back for a second, get out of your fandom for a moment, and think about it objectively, DCEU is a giant mess. It is a giant cluster at this point in time. But the fact that you have Suicide Squad that came out, and now the next film coming out is called The Suicide Squad, that's keeping Margot Robbie on as Harley Quinn, but then is recasting some characters and is yet still part of the same continuity, but also not part of the same... Again, it's a giant mess. Is a giant mess. And the people to blame here are not necessarily Zack Snyder, though. Zack Snyder, I think, had a hand to do with it with his earlier films in the franchise, but it's really the people running DC, the DCEU right now under Warner Brothers. They're doing a terrible job, because if you look over at the MCU, even though I have my problems with the MCU recently, and I'm kind of done with them since Endgame, because Endgame was complete trash. Oh man, now I just pissed off the MCU fans. What you find is that, at the very least, their storylines are coherent. At the very least, their universe is coherent. They have so many films building up to a big thing, where you had DCU, which was like, oh, let's make Man of Steel, and hey, let's make Batman v Superman. Oh, let's just do the entire Justice League, because we can. And we're not thinking this thing through all the way. And so it makes total sense to me if this rumor turned out to be true with, hey, let's bring back Steppenwolf, even though no one really wanted Steppenwolf or liked Steppenwolf, especially that... Oh my gosh, that terrible CGI that was in this movie. Oh man, I'm now having like flashbacks of having to watch that movie and just how bad it was. But again, according to We Got This Covered, come on, Bounding into Comics. I love you guys over there. Who wrote this one? JB Augustin. I love y'all guys, but don't cover We Got This Covered garbage. According to We Got This Covered, Justice League's villain, so take this with a gigantic grain of salt. Villain Steppenwolf is set to return in The New Gods, directed by Ava Duvernay. Reportedly, he will be redesigned, and Kieran Hines is still the studio's top man to voice him. I actually like Kieran Hines. Kieran Hines is a very talented actor, and I guess is the best part of the character of Steppenwolf. Warner Brothers is allegedly counting on the soft reboot resulting from the Flash movie, if and when that ever happens. Especially now with everything going on right now, based on the story Flashpoint to retcon Justice League and make all of this coherent. And yet, seeing that this is the same company that led to the original craziness and continuity, I don't really trust them to be able to handle Flashpoint with any sense of tact and skill whatsoever. Steppenwolf survived the end of theatrical version of Justice League, besieged by parademons, so the door is open to a comeback. If New Gods ties together with Justice League, he probably won't be in the good graces of Darkseid, who doesn't take kindly to failure. And I will say this much, having actually watched the clip itself, they kind of insinuate that he's dead because of the fact that all that's left of him at that point is the helmet. Though I do see where they're coming from, that they could easily, since they don't show the actual physical death, show him coming back at some point in time. And it could very well be that he's coming back just to be, totally destroyed out of existence by Darkseid at the very beginning of the next film. We have reason to believe the New Gods will mirror Jack Kirby's Fourth World comics more closely, so it's likely Steppenwolf's new look will match the source material. In the pages of DC and other media, notably Superman the Animated Series, he looks like a swashbuckling trophy hunter. In Justice League, where the CGI came across as unfinished, he looked more like a demon or a troll. That appearance would have been more pronounced if Zack Snyder had his way and Warner didn't ask him to change the initial design. And again, I am willing to give Zack Snyder fanboys out there some benefit of the doubt that the studio probably led to a lot of the films that he made being trash. I know there's a huge contingent out there saying, release a Snyder Cut. But just like what I said with Batman v Superman, just because you add an extra 30 minutes or so of content, that is not going to fix the problems that exist in Zack Snyder's almost every single Zack Snyder film. I cannot think right now of a current Zack Snyder film that has actually aged well. That goes even back to 300, which was great at the time, but having watched it recently, does not age nearly as well. God, I can't wait for the hate. WG, what we got this covered says their sources are reliable and were correct about Green Lantern and HBO Max and Rise of Skywalker spoilers regarding Rey and Palpatine, but take into consideration the Steppenwolf story only as rumor, because it's so funny that they always mention, the couple times we got it right, and not the hundreds of times that they got it wrong. Not much that is new has come out lately about New Gods. We know co-writers Tom King and Duvernay are working on the script. Oh, great. Duvernay is writing the script too. Oh, get ready for a lot of political nonsense, because everyone wants that in their DC films, right? They're probably hammering it out in quarantine right now. Telling the tale of Apocalypse and New Genesis, the plot reportedly focuses on Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. Darkseid is expected for his belated cinematic debut, and so are Granny Goodness and Female Furies, and that just sounds like a whole heap of garbage. So do you have any excitement for this project, New Gods? Do you care at all that Steppenwolf might be coming back? As I said in the very beginning, Ava Duvernay is a complete hack, and it's so funny because I have the tremendous pleasure of being blocked by her on Twitter because she does not like any type of criticism whatsoever. But if you want an idea of the work that she's done, everyone's going to say, oh, well, Selma was good. Go back and rewatch Selma, because even though the writing, for the most part, is pretty good and the acting is great, look at the way that everything is crafted together and how every scene flows together. It's not a very well-directed movie. Ava DuVernay has a job because she's a political hack, and dear Lord, if they actually do keep her on for New Gods, get ready for what could be even worse than Justice League and Batman v Superman. And that's right, go ahead and hate me all you want. But what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, because you know the DC fanboys, Zack Snyder fanboys, and possibly even the MCU fanboys out there are going to go after me. But that's okay, because I was told, hey, you can do a video about whatever you want. I don't care about the views. I don't care about the likes or dislikes. And I'm like, okay, Jeremy, you got it, bud. Have fun with this one. But anyway, let me know your thoughts about this and all the things talked about in the comment section below. And have a wonderful day. And make sure you check out my channel as well, Odin's Movie Blog, where I do movie reviews, talk about the box office when it's open, and also other cultural topics as well. You guys are awesome. Love you so much. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.